Go around this way, I guess. Yeah, it was a warm day, but I'm not going to complain about the heat because all y'all have been in the heat. So why should we be any different? I actually spent most of the day indoors. I had a lot of food work to do and some research to do online. Danielle, however, she came down and put in a see if I can get in the camera. There we go. Danielle came down and put in a 2-hour shift between about 10 and 12 o'clock. And we had a visit from our Jehovah's Witness friend. That's always fun. I think his name is Dennis. And, you know, they like to go around and visit people. And I think that's great. And I invite Jehovah's Witnesses right into the house. And the first time he came, we had quite a talk. And I sent him away with some homework. I told him to look up the names John Nelson Darby, Cyrus Ingersoll Schofield, and he said he had never heard of the Schofield Bible. So I told him to look into that, and because I do not subscribe to those things, but I don't want to make this channel about religion or anything, but I just want to tell you about the interesting conversation that we had with our friend Dennis. We ended up talking about wheat and flour, bread flour, all-purpose flour, organic flour, why you should use organic flour, and told him about our wheat growing adventures. It just so happened that right there on the front porch I was making a batch of English muffins, so I pointed them out to him. And we had a great time talking about that sort of a thing instead of the Bible. But I told him to look up the difference between preterism and dispensationalism, and he said he had never heard of those terms. And I reminded him that the word rapture did not appear anywhere in the literature until about 1833. And he was interested in that too. So we always like it when our friend Dennis comes around. What else? Yeah, I mean, I stayed on the front porch. It started to get really hot around 12:30. Danielle came back at 12 and from the gardens, thankfully, and I had her take a bath, change her clothes. She was really perspiring badly. And then we settled down and had a nice cold beverage and began our afternoon. I made some hamburgers. And yeah, that was pretty much our day. I spent most of this afternoon doing some research. I'm researching microphones. We have a good microphone for the camera, but I want to have a cordless microphone. So I've been researching those, but it's very confusing, so maybe I'm not going to push the issue. But anyway, there's a couple things here in the garden that I need to check, and if you want, you can come along with me. These onion seed plants are doing really well. We are going to have a ton of onion seeds. This particular onion variety, and I'll talk about it again as the summer goes on, but this particular variety of onion is Rose de Roscoff, and it comes from France, as you may have guessed. And it's got quite a story. As far as how we got a hold of it, it's hard to find in America. I have seen it, but you don't see it in just every catalog, like you do Ailsa Craig or some of the other household names. But anyway, it looks like we're going to have a really good crop of Rosa de Roscoff. It's a yellow storage onion, and we're probably going to have so many seeds that we'll be giving some away. So don't act yet, but I'm hoping to be able to give some of y'all some onion seeds, and but we'll talk more about that later. These are carrot seed plants. We're growing a variety of seed called, if I can get it there, there it is, called Scarlet Nance. and I don't have any promises to make with that. Our success rate with carrots has been sketchy over the years. We have had some success, but it's nothing that I can guarantee quite yet. This guy, however, we have success with him every single year. This is a variety of leek called Blue Solace, and I wholeheartedly try to encourage people to grow leeks. They're easy to grow. In fact, down there is the regular leek crop for the kitchen, and up here are the seeds. And a lot of seed catalogs are starting to drop this particular variety. I don't know why. We started growing this right around 2015, maybe 10 years ago, and we have, ever since we bought that first little packet of Blue Solace, we have not purchased another packet since. We've been saving our seeds ever since. Another good bit of news, or rather another task that I had, was to take the compost bin that was surrounding that compost right there and to relocate it down to way down there. I usually relocate, whoops, can't find it, there it is. I usually relocate the compost bin 1st of July. I was about a week late this year. And we are going to be doing an extensive video on our composting system. It's an important thing to us. Our compost system is very important, and I'll tell you one aspect of it is we have what's called a dry toilet. No water is necessary, and I have very strong feelings about having a dry toilet. We have to tell our friends and relatives when they want to come up and visit and stay with us. We need to tell them ahead of time that, first of all, we have to tell them that we're not in one of those fancy New Jersey Shore houses. We used to be about maybe 15 years ago. But those days are over. We're living a simple life. But anyway, so when people want to come and visit us from down there, we have to explain to them that we're living in a very small, simple wood cabin, and we heat with a wood stove, and we cook with a wood stove, and we have a dry toilet. And we tell them how the dry toilet works. If they want to come up badly enough, they do, and I'm sure that they have stories to tell when they go back home. But a dry toilet is really the way to go. Oops. And the contents of the dry toilet goes, I don't know if you can see it, but it goes in that compost bin. And we use 3 compost bins. We use one for an entire year. Let me show you one. Hold on a second. This is a compost bin from 2 years ago. And right, you're looking at it. That's the culmination of one entire year's worth of dry toilet output, if that's the way to put it. Let me back up here. That's it. It's a compost bin that's 4 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet. And it has decomposed down to about 1/3 of its size. In fact, at its at its highest, it was only about 2/3 full. And now it's maybe 1/3 full. But all of the output from our dry toilet goes into these compost bins. And that's a lot better than sending it into the city or the municipal water supply. That is just something that grosses me out. Hazelnuts are doing really good. They're right on course for the squirrels. We usually don't get the hazelnuts. The squirrels beat us to it, which is a shame because I use hazelnuts in my banana bread, my zucchini bread, and my chocolate chip cookies. This is where we took one of the cabbages from. This is where we took the other cabbage from. Here's a cabbage that'll be ready probably in a few days or a week. And we had a friend of ours on YouTube comment that we should take the stump from where we removed the cabbage from and carve a cross into it, and it will produce 4 little miniature cabbages. So we're going to try that. The garlic is on schedule to come out in about 2 weeks, on July the 31st. If any of you folks were watching when we took the garlic scapes off, you might recall me saying that I was going to keep a few scapes on a few of the garlics to show you what happens. There was some discussion about what happens if you don't take the garlic scapes off. And what happens is that turn, that 360-degree turn, straightens up again. And you can see that they're beginning to straighten up again. And inside those little seed scape ends are little seed bulbules, just like any other allium. Well, I guess that'll just about do it for tonight. Kind of a short night tonight. Tomorrow we do errands, so I'm not going to be doing a video of any real substance tomorrow. When we get home and get settled in, when I come out to do chores like I did tonight, I'll walk around with the camera like this and get you up to date on how everything looks. But otherwise, I think I'll sign off for now, and we'll try it again tomorrow. Alright, well, thanks for tuning in anyway. Okay, bye.